2022. So this is our now second year coming to this event, and it feels really different this year. Biggest change is I'm doing the 100-mile race instead of the 200. The decision was kind of made with the sponsors of just like, what's the best kind of decision here of like, all right, like in the 200, there's so many variables that, you know, the heat, nutrition, mechanicals, they can end your day early. And then thinking to myself, right, like with the cost of everything to come out here and the time commitment to get in shape, let's invest in doing the 100 and doing really well there instead of the 200. So that was kind of my new mindset coming into this. But this year coming to this race, we just feel a lot more involved in the community. Taking part in the GOO ride on Thursday and being able to help host that with Yuri from GOO and Molly, and feeling like we really kind of helped grow that ride to what it was. And with, you know, over 300 people in there in the beginning was just a beautiful thing. For the race itself, I just feel a lot lighter about my thinking. I don't really know how to describe it. Maybe just having done this course before, or the cooler attempts, I just kind of have less anxiety than I did last year, and feel more confident that, you know, 100 miles is a lot more reasonable and I'm going to be able to accomplish my goals. I really just want to, my goals are really just two things of, I want to go out there and I want to finish, but I don't want to be there as a witness. So I'm more than happy to take massive risk and blow up, trying to make sure I'm in the race at some point. Starting the race and then finishing it 7 hours later with that just being the goal is one thing, but I would rather start this race and roll the dice and say, look, no matter what happens, I'm going to have some part to play, and then blow up and finish in 7 hours. Like, those are very different events for me. And, with Cam Wharf and Peter Sagan at the start line, I think that this is a very competitive field, and I think it has bigger names and bigger stars than the 200. And this is kind of an opportunity for me to really fight and see where I can end up. And I feel really confident in my preparation. Last year I had some nutrition problems with the heat, and working kind of closely with Yuri and GOO, I feel more confident than ever at my nutrition plan. So this will kind of be the ultimate test. I've run it a couple times previously this year, and we'll see what happens. One of the biggest changes, and I don't want to say fiascos, but with the weather currently predicting for tomorrow is a little bit of rain at some point, but this area has gotten a lot of rain over the last couple weeks. So the course is very muddy. When we code up here, we had some dry weather tires on, but working with Kenda and the race engineers there, we were able to switch on to these Kenda mud tires, and we got them and we went over, and the amazing people at Orange Steel were able to put them on for us, and it was fantastic, and we're happy. And then this morning, Kenda surprised us with a brand new prototype tire that just came into stock. That's the new Alluvium. So then we went back over to Orange Steel. They were lovely. They took the wheels off, changed all the tires over again for us. So that's kind of our new secret weapon on the Diamond carbides, is the tires. It's going to be interesting with the Diamond. Something I've been telling people a lot is that the carbides are 100% integrated with the cables. So pairing that with the SRAM wireless means that there's not a ton that can go wrong on the bike, and there's not a ton of things that the mud can break on the bike. Just having that all integrated. In previous years we had bikes with cables sticking out left, right, and center that would get coated and that risk branches snapping on them and all this stuff. So having kind of a really clean bike with just the cable management, I think is going to be a big advantage tomorrow, aside from just the obvious aerodynamic benefit. We have a similar setup, but the Diamond carbides integration all kind of is done through Vision's ACR system. So using their stem and their handlebar is going to be just kind of a crucial point to make sure our bike stays clean and it's always working throughout the race. It's kind of weird that Peter Sagan's racing. I remember when I was 17 years old watching him at his first Tour de France, winning all these races and just thinking he's the coolest guy ever. And then, I don't know, it's been a weird journey because I followed Peter Sagan's whole career, as I kind of grew up in cycling, and it was weird winning all these races and being charismatic and likable, and then he has just kind of flip-flopped all over the place and with these highs and lows. So I'm a huge fan of the guy, and it's just kind of weird to line up alongside him. It reminds me when I was racing triathlon, I did 70.30 St. George, and Alistair Brownlee raced, and that was a similar one where it was my first time racing someone I had watched growing up. So it's a really cool experience. It definitely is intimidating. We'll see what happens, but I don't know, it'd be cool just to get a photo racing with him. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, so unlike Chris, I actually had more brain cells last year and said, I am not doing the 200 mile race ever. So I did the 100 last year, so I'm back for round 2. If you remember, I had a mechanical about 4-ish miles into the race. I spent like 20 minutes on the side of the road trying to get that fixed. Got it fixed, luckily, so I was able to finish, but that meant everyone that was my riding speed was well long gone. So I spent most of the day solo with groups of people like going by me and like trying to get on, usually unsuccessful. So this year I'm excited because I think I have a lot of room for improvement, which is really motivating for me. So I have a time that I wasn't as proud of last year, so I think I can do better, assuming things go well. No mechanicals, no crazy amounts of mud. So I'm really excited about that and hoping to really improve upon my performance last year. Hopefully with the new Kenda tires that we've got on today, that even if it is muddy, we won't have too many problems. They did hand out like little paint stick things at the check-in, so we'll scrape off the mud. So if we have to stop, we can scrape off the outsides, but I don't know, I'm really hoping like that it starts late enough that that's not really too much of an issue, so we'll see. I don't know, I haven't really looked at the start list yet. So I know my friend Leah's racing. She's pretty fast, so but I don't really know any of the other girls racing because I just haven't really looked. No Peter Sagan, so both rides were pretty cool. The ride on Thursday, like a lot of what that ride stood for is something very close to me. So promoting equality across the board, not just like LGBTQ equality, but equality in general, was cool. And like I texted Yuri on what day would he come here? On Tuesday, and I was like, hey, so how many people do we have signed up for this ride? And he was like, about 50 right now. So I was like, okay, I'll make 75 stickers. And turns out there was like probably over 300 people there. So that was pretty cool to be a part of something that so many people came out to support. Definitely something that I think we've all decided needs to become a tradition. So that was nice. And it was nice to just get out and ride with people. Like, come to these races to race, but you also come to like connect with the community that you have outside of like your hometown. So that was pretty cool. So this year we have our new Diamond bikes, which I'm super excited about. They're really light, and as a smaller rider, like that's something that I really take for granted. And they're also really fast. And I wasn't really noticing like the impact too much yesterday when we were riding, yesterday or today. And we rode some pretty chunky stuff, so I'm excited to just like race this bike for real. Like this is really the first time that I've raced on my Diamond, aside from like Old Man Winter, and I think I had only had the bike 3 days then, so it really was not like set up, fit, and really tuned to me. I have been climbing really well on my bike, and there's a lot of like rolling, punchy climbs. Well, at least last year there was. Actually, I guess it's a different course this year, but so yeah, so I'm excited to race my carbide. Lightweight, super fast, great gravel bike.
So we're just quickly walking through the Unbound Expo. I think we're just gonna say hi to all the sponsors. We're gonna say hi to Vision and Kenda, and I mean, all our sponsors are here. So we're gonna say hi to everyone, and then we're gonna head back and get out of here and get ready for the race. It's creative back then. They have to read.
We don't have the whole. We have to have music.
Yeah. VAS, vibration absorbing stem. It's a gravel specific stem or off-road stem, or for if you have 4 roads where you live that are asphalt or 5A, but it's primarily built for gravel type riding, off-road riding.
Okay, so with the anticipated weather forecast this weekend, rain, mud, all things fun. What are like some things that are going to be kind of influencing tire choice more in like this weekend than in years past?
A lot of it honestly comes down to frame clearance and the tire's ability to shed mud. So it sounds a little counterintuitive, but going to something with more of a file tread or something with a little bit lower profile, because that tire tends to not pick up as much mud or pack up as bad or clear out better. So my recommendation for this weekend has been the alluvium, and a lot of that is because it just doesn't pack up with mud. It stays pretty clear. So I think that's the number one choice, honestly.
When we're going to race.
Yeah.
We had a last minute switch.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah. From the booster.
From the booster,
actually. Yeah. From the more aggressive tire to a more of a file tread. So something like this is great in rocky conditions. It acts really, really well in cornering. The braking performance is far superior. But when we're talking about muddy conditions, I say go with something with a bit more profile and tread.
Okay, so we have Megan and Jordan from Diamond Bikes. So the Diamonds are my sponsor. So we're just gonna talk about like really quickly. So
yeah, so right here we have one of our gravel bikes. These 4 gravel bikes, those 2 are road bikes. All of our bikes are fully custom made and custom built for it. We do fades, different paint schemes, different colors, color painting paints, and all that fun stuff. So glitter, metal flakes, anything you think of.
the gravel bike is really like the geometry is really meant for gravel, and then the road bike is definitely like aero focused. So they aren't just the same frame with a little bit more clearance.
The geometries are a bit different, as well as their fork width, so you can put those wider tires on the gravel.
Yeah, we have 40s, so that's I think spec to 42, right? 45. Spec to 45. We're running 40s for the race tomorrow. So.
How many do you think we're in that room?
One. And a single one about a minute behind him.
You can catch up to him, man. You got it.
Oh, take these.
Yep.
I had like some pretty fast wheels,
Yeah.
and I would have lost him.
All right, good luck.
My mud freckles.
You know the drill. Tell us everything that happened and don't leave anything out.
Okay, so the race went pretty well overall. I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. I was riding really well, really strong. I came into the aid station averaging about 15.5 miles per hour, which is like 2 miles faster than last year. And then at about mile 70, right before we got to the clay section, it started downpouring. And we had to basically carry our bikes for 3 miles. The mud was so thick, like you couldn't even like push it. So that really set me back, but after that I got back on, and it was still raining pretty hard, so I didn't want to like push too hard because I was like worried about crashing, but I just tried to like stay strong and finish it out, which I think I did. I was able to make up a little bit more time again. With like 12 miles left, I started fading really quickly, and then I just like shoved like so much food down my face, and I actually like felt a lot better after that. So that's your reminder. Always remember to eat your food because it will help. I think I still PR'd my time from last year, so that was good. Next, I think, is Robidoux Rendezvous in Gearing, Nebraska. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully it's a little less wet.
What was it like riding on prototype tires?
Oh, the tires were great. Yeah, I was really happy with the tires. They, for the most part, they were like nothing was sticking, except for that one section. But literally, like, there wasn't a single person that had tires that like the mud was not sticking to. So I don't think we can chalk that up to defects on the tire. That was just the conditions on the day. My nutrition was like really well for the first like until it started pouring. Really, I was like really sticking to my plan of eating every 30 minutes, and it was going so well. And then like just like with the downpour and the conditions, and I just like kind of stopped eating, and then that's when that caught up to me with like 12 miles left. But when that happened, I think I ate like 2 waffles, I took a gel, and some guy was like on the side of the road handing out pickles, so I definitely took some of those, and after a few minutes like that started kicking in and was going a lot better again.
Unbound 2022, done and dusted. I 100 was a really weird dynamic. I kind of made this judgment call early on to go off the front with one of the state bikes athletes. It was one of those weird calls where my goal was to get up the road and let the race then catch me after like the selection's been made in the group. I'm historically not great at making the splits in the group, or I just end up wasting way too much energy to make the splits. So getting off the front and riding steady, hard but steady. So that worked really well. So like mile 25, we got caught by a reduced group, and it was kind of towards the end of this climbing section, so that was another kind of big positive. And after that, we spent like the next 15 miles and with a pretty big group, and Peter Sagan was there doing these very odd kind of like, he would take a hard pull and kind of gutter everyone, and then he would sit up, and no one wanted to pull because they were, everyone's been guttered, so then the group would just come to a crawling halt. Everyone would catch back on, and that just kind of like this weird dynamic kind of happened until mile 40, and he stopped at the aid station to get water. I think almost every single other person in the group just rolled straight through. He never caught back on, but then we just kind of had this bigger group than what's generally comfortable for that stage of that gravel race. So at like mile 50, we were on this section of rollers, and I kept trying to kind of get away with a couple individuals on these rollers of just kind of kicking over the top, giving it some stick, and just seeing if I could get a gap. And it didn't, like, the group kept chasing me down, and they never really gave me breathing space, so I ended up burning some matches and then getting back in the group. And then right when I got back in the group and was trying to recover, this nasty climb called the jungle climb came up, and it was like 200 meters, but like 20% grade with big rocks, something you would see on like a mountain bike course. And going up it, I was already pretty torched from the efforts, and took a bad line, ended up having to unclip. When I got off my bike, I accidentally kicked the bike computer off of Canyon Emmett's bike. Unfortunate. I apologized to him after the race, but had to run for a bit, got back on, and then by the time I got over the top, I was at the back of the group, and the group was splintering in front of me. So I started chasing, and what kind of happened was just that I spent all my matches to chase back onto the back of the group, and by the time I caught onto the back of the group, I had nothing left. So then the group started surging, and then I got dropped from the group. And after that happened, it was just kind of an unfortunate. Some other people who had been dropped kind of caught back onto me, and we had another. So there was a group of probably 9 up the road, and then 5 or 6 of us in this chase group, and we just kind of rolled through and got to the aid station. Felt like fine-ish. I was having a bit of an upset stomach at that point. I don't really know why. Got to the aid station, took my count back off, got the new gels, went on my way, but my stomach was just not happy, so I ended up doing the entire rest of the race without taking on any more nutrition. I never really felt like I bonked in the race just because I had preloaded so much in the first 3/4 of the race. So kind of going from then on, with the last 2 hours to go, we just had this slow pickup with the rain where we started with just a little bit of mist and then a little bit more and a little bit more until it was just an absolute downpour for the last hour, and that was absolutely miserable. I had dropped my sunglasses at the aid station for, God, I don't know why I did this, and was just being blinded nonstop by these little like pieces of dirt and sand and gravel just kind of getting flung up into my eyes, and that was how my day ended, just sitting in a group trying to still deal with my stomach, getting blinded, and then we finally kind of got to the end. Our group had a little bit of a sprint, and I ended up finishing 15th, which I have mixed feelings about it. Like, so many things went right, and so many things went so well, and I felt so good, and I was so happy with how I was doing. I just burned the right matches at the wrong time, and then didn't have the matches when I needed them. I wish that I had been a little bit more patient in that section, and instead of trying to be a hero and split the group and get away with some guys, I had just kind of sat in and waited. But I mean, ultimately, like I said in the pre-run, like I came here and I just didn't want to be a witness. I wanted to be in the race, I wanted to animate the race, I wanted to have a part to play, and from that perspective I feel like I did what I wanted to do. The result isn't what I wanted, but you can't have it both ways sometimes, I guess. So, we'll see. Looks like we'll probably be back next year and learn from this race and see what we can do. We'll see everyone again at Robidoux Rendezvous at the end of June, and we're looking forward to that one. That'll be another really great, fun race, and I look forward to taking part in that one.